We can speak to Mohammed Shehada, who is the Chief of Communications at the Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor. Mohammed, always a pleasure to have you on. I want to talk first of all about these displacements. I know you were in Doha during the latest round of mediated talks, so we'll discuss that as well. But this continued displacement, many times it seems as if there's no military purpose for it. So why order people to leave?
Well, basically, if you look at the record, Israel itself, Israel's Channel 12, the most watched television network in Israel, is admitting that these evacuation orders are, number one, a collective punishment tactic. Every time that Hamas attacks from one area or launches an attack against the IDF or attempts to launch a projectile towards Israel, they would evacuate the whole city. We are speaking here about hundreds of thousands. Sometimes it could be 250,000 or 500,000 in one evacuation order. The other thing that they admit themselves is that this is used as a psychological warfare tactic, because they realize that people in Gaza say evacuation orders and being forcibly expelled from one area to another like a ping pong game is 1,000 times more painful than the war itself, especially if you're evacuated to an open area like Al-Mawasi that does not have any infrastructure, that does not have any appropriate housing, where you would end up living literally on the street surrounded by sewage, puddles of polluted water, heaps and piles of trash, and insects, scorpions, and snakes. So in a scorching heat temperature. So this all together adds to this war of attrition and psychological torture against the population, not just Hamas.
And then we have this issue of the United Nations saying that some of the aid that has been coming into the center and the south of Gaza is the lowest it's been since July. Parts of northern Gaza have not received any supplies of food for the past 3 months. When you put all of this together, it's quite clearly a combination that is killing the Palestinians. And as you say, the Israelis know that is happening. Forced displacements are also a crime. But Israel is getting away with all of it. So here we come to the politics of it. When you were in Doha, did you get an impression that actually there were real talks going on? Increasingly, people are saying when these people come for discussions, it is just a show. It is not real, that Israel doesn't want peace.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, there was a formula called the July 2nd proposal. It builds and embraces fully the Biden proposal that he made in May, that he termed as Israel's own proposal. And Hamas got a response from the mediators that the July 2nd formula was endorsed and accepted by both the United States and Israel. But soon after, Israel attempted the assassination against Mohammed Deif, killed Ismail Haniyeh, and went on to unleash massacre after massacre in Gaza nonstop, and imposed 4 new conditions that are deliberately impossible. That's what Hamas officials say, what the mediators themselves say. They say that these conditions Netanyahu put in place are deliberately impossible and designed to ruin the talks. The latest round of talks that started about 2 weeks ago in Doha, what everybody is saying is this is, quote, a sham theater play that was designed in place for 3 main reasons. Number one is to allow the Kamala Harris DNC to pass peacefully without much protestation or disruption, to say that, yeah, look, we're trying to reach a ceasefire. The other one is the dead cat diplomacy. So basically to embrace a deal that is deliberately unworkable, unimplementable, that Hamas would find laughably ridiculous and would refuse to engage with, and then say, look, Hamas is rejecting, Netanyahu is accepting, so the blame is on Hamas. That would make it difficult, presumably, for Iran and El-balah to retaliate against Israel, since they promised to hold fire as long as negotiations are happening. And the third reason that the U.S. is informing mediators, when they insisted to issue a positive statement falsely that mediators were upset with, even the Israeli team was frustrated with the positive statement that the United States insisted on. The reason the U.S. gave was basically to say, if we create some false hope, it might create pressure on Netanyahu from the Israeli public to compromise and be more flexible. But this is not happening at all. He's insisting on these 4 deliberately impossible conditions to remain in place.
Mohammed, really appreciate it. I'm sorry, we're having a bit of a disruption in the sound quality, but we are hearing almost everything you're saying, and your contributions are always valued. Mohammed Shehada, thank you so much.